Here we are going to take a look at how to calculate variance and standard deviation of a very simple sample set. Okay. In this example, we polled 7 people to see how many times per week they ate out. The results are 3, 2, 4, 6, 3, 3, 0. Okay. We can calculate, among other things, the variance and standard deviation of this set using 2 fairly simple formulas. Okay. First, we'll start with the variance. And the way to symbolize variance is to do SD squared. And then the formula for variance is variance equals, the sum of x minus m divided by n. In plain English, this says the variance equals the sum of all the scores minus the mean divided by the number of scores. And I forgot one part, and I usually do the square. Okay, so we want to take the sum of all of the scores minus the mean squared divided by n, and that will give us the variance. So let's go ahead and plug in our data into a handy chart. So we will call this our X column, which has all of our scores, and our scores are 3, 2, 4, 6, 3, 3, 0. So far, so good. The next step in building this is to take all of the scores minus the mean. You can see that this is the same as this. We're just building up the formula in order to get our results. Here's a little hiccup. We don't have a mean yet. Well, we learned how to calculate the mean, so we can easily calculate the mean of that data set. And let's see, 3 and 2 is 5 and 4 is 9 and 6 is 15 and 3 and 3 is 21. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scores. So we can do 21 divided by 7, and that equals 3. So that's what our mean will equal in this example. Simple enough. So if we take all of our scores minus the mean, we can get what's called a deviation score. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 2 minus 3 is -1. 4 minus 3 is +1. 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. And 0 minus 3 is -3. The next step is to square each of those scores. So we want to add another portion, x minus m squared. So we can square each of those scores easily as well. We've got 0. 0 times 0 is 0. -1 times -1 is +1. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. And -3 times -3 is 9. That will give us our squared deviation score. The next step is to get a sum of squares, which is shown like this: the sum of x minus m squared. So we already calculated all of our x minus m squares. Now we need to add them all together. So 0 plus 1 is 1, plus 1 is 2, plus 9 is 11, plus 0 plus 9 is 20. Okay. Our next step is to divide all of that by the number. And that is actually how we get our variance. So we get the sum of all of our x's minus m squared. And I just noticed I made a little boo-boo here. So let me see if I can blot that out real quick. What I did was I put the square inside of the parentheses, which doesn't work. Okay, so we're back to here. We have our sum of all of our x's minus m's squared divided by the number, which is going to give us our standard deviation. And when you take the sum of squares, which is 20, and divide it by the number of scores, which is 7, you get Let's see, that is 6.66 repeating, so we'll call it 6.667. That will get you the variance. Now, getting the standard deviation is one step, and it's pretty easy. Standard deviation is really equal to the square root of the variance. So if we have the symbol for variance, SD squared, like we found it over here, all we need to do is take the square root of that to get standard deviation. The square root of the variance, or the square root of the sum of all the scores minus the mean squared divided by the number of scores, equals 2.58. And really all we did was take the square root of 6.667 to get 2.58. And that from there you can tell that we have a variance in this distribution of 6.667 with a standard deviation of 2.58.